Hello, hello. Anybody out there? Let me adjust my camera a little bit while we wait for folks to get in. I'm showing 2 in the chat right now. Jay Pylon said I'm in all. I know he typed that in quite a while ago, and I think Donald posted a few minutes ago. And he sees a mini Mean Machine in an Alpha 3. Well, I see the Alpha 3, but I don't know what he's talking about with the Mean Machine. I don't see anything. I don't see a Mean Machine on the screen. Do y'all? Don, I'm sorry, Don. But no, I don't see a Mean Machine. I just see an Alpha 3. So I don't know where you got that from. Little appetizer, just trying to whet your appetite there a little bit. But yeah, that is going to come up here in a bit. See, Donald Blomdahl, the other Donald in our stream, I'm so used to calling him Donald. Everyone just calls him Donald. So when I see your name, I say Donald. So please don't. I know I'm trying to say Don. Don't think I'm trying to be mean and go against your wishes. So we got 4 in the chat now. We'll give it a few minutes, and I've got a lot of little stuff to go over. Nothing major, although I do want to get into the Mean Machine, and I'll tell you what my plans are for that. But I've just got a lot of little anecdotes I want to talk about, and yeah, I know you're teasing. But no, there's a lot of little rocket news, and I did get an envelope in the mail today from Tim's Cards. If you guys remember, he had a sale last week, and I was in it, and I picked up a couple cards. So this came today, so we'll open it up. And I also have a Fairfield box. It's not Fairfield Friday. It's not Walgreens Wednesday. I don't want to say Throwback Thursday because Donald uses that on his streams. So help me think of a name for Thursday. Alex is in the house. Mean Machine. Yep. This is a mini Mean Machine. Alex, I'm sure most of you have seen my rocket videos where I fly the full-size Mean Machine, which is a nearly 7-foot tall rocket. And this is a mini Mean Machine. I don't even know how tall this one is. This one is 39 inches in length, so a little over 3 feet. So if you imagine a yardstick standing up, add 3 more inches to that. Hey, yeah, got a Fairfield. Still having no issues finding Fairfields at my Walgreens. Of course, they're all the newer boxes, but it is what it is. I think one time I found some newer cards, like, I want to say it was like 2022 Series 1. I picked up a few boxes, but I haven't seen anything since. Nothing in Series 2 yet. So, okay, we got 5 watching. I'll go ahead and get started. I'm not going to do anything to the Alpha yet. Well, on screen. I've already done some stuff to it. But I want to let you know what I'm doing to it in preparation for Aaron from FFS, Faith, Family, and Sports, because he's going to build an Alpha, and I was going to kind of build alongside of him. But the one thing I don't know if you guys have ever experienced this, if you've ever mentored somebody into a hobby, be it, rockets or, I guess even baseball cards to an extent, but, model airplanes. As you progress through the hobby, you learn to utilize new techniques, and you want to do things a certain way that may go against what the instructions say. However, I don't want Aaron to go against the instructions because this will be his first rocket build. So the things that I'm going to do to modify my rocket, I'm going to do off camera. And when we do it together, I'll obviously show him the Estes way of doing things. Now, I know the first step in the Alpha is building the motor mount. So I'm completely leaving the motor mount untouched. Fairfield Home Run Challenge Thursday. Maybe. That's not a bad idea. Home Run Challenge. We're not doing the Home Run Derby or Challenge today, Alex. Honestly, I didn't even think about it. Wow. You got the wheels spinning in my head again. But yeah, we do want to start that up again here soon. But obviously, I'm not ready today, so we won't be able to do it. But thanks for the reminder. So the motor mount, I'm going to build stock. Let me angle this down just a bit for Aaron's sake, because I don't want him to get confused, because this is where he and Jess were hitting a roadblock as far as the build. So I'm just going to go ahead and build this stock alongside them and leave that as is. So basically, without giving away too much, the motor mount will slip in like that. Hey, oddball. Well, I don't know if that's a joke. I think it was a good idea, actually. Once you get the motor mount installed, it'll all be, built up with all the attachments. But then the body tube glues on to that whole unit. Now, the body comes black, and I think it would be best for Aaron and just to leave it black and put the decals on it as is. But you know me, I'm going to run an altimeter. I want to see if I can paint it with black and make it a little bit smoother and glossier. I need to prime it, but to do that, I had to get the launch lug installed first. So I've gone ahead and done the launch lug ahead of time, and then I'm going to spray paint it and have it finished before they begin. I've also punched my holes for the altimeter, and you're probably noticing some streaks and some stuff going on the body that's not stock. Don, filler primer? No. So what I've done, and I did this by accident on my last, what was I building? My goodness. I'm trying to remember what rocket it was. Might have been my, oh, you know what it was? It was the payload bay for the Yankee. This is where I discovered this. So I took the payload bay and I spray painted it. I primed it, and it got very blotchy. Like the primer came out horrible. It left splatter marks all over it. So I quickly grabbed some lacquer thinner and a paper towel, and I just started wiping all the paint off the payload bay as quick as I could. And it worked. It took all the paint off back down to the bare cardboard. But what I noticed was the spirals were filled in with the primer. I'm like, well, that's interesting. So I cleaned the whole thing up, and I shot it again with primer, and the primer laid down like paint with no grooves visible. So then that was on the payload bay. Yes, Rust-Oleum, the cheap. I want to save the Duplicolor for the high-end stuff. But then when it came to the new upper body tube for the Yankee, the blue portion of it, I'll show you. So what I just described happened to me was the white part up here. So then I said, well, let me try something. So then when I painted the blue, I sprayed it with the primer, and I immediately took all of it off with lacquer thinner, just like I did, but I did it on purpose ahead of time. And I think I did it twice. I sprayed another coat of primer on it and wiped it off again and let it dry. And then when I hit it with the primer for the third time, the primer just went on with no grooves. So I'm kind of thinking that might be a new technique for at least the time being that I'm going to use to fill in the spirals. Food for thought, but I did it on this one. So I took this out and I hit it with the primer before I glued the launch lug on. Hit it with the primer, immediately got some paper towel with lacquer thinner, and just took all the primer off, and it left behind the white in the grooves. Now, it's not perfect. I still do feel a little a little bump, but when I get the primer down, the final primer, I'm going to wet sand it anyway. And then I did lay down the launch lug with some wood glue, and I will fillet the insides later on, probably with some epoxy. I know wood glue would work fine for the fillets, but I kind of like using epoxy. And I did pre-punch the holes for the altimeter. But what you're seeing, though, is the streaks is a combination of the lacquer thinner taking off the primer, and it actually did take off some of the black dye that was on there earlier, when it comes from the factory. So I'm kind of liking that technique. And I stumbled upon it by accident, but it seems to be working, because you can see it's filling in the spirals naturally. Yeah, so Donald, I'm actually contemplating using rock epoxy. I use it on my bigger stuff, but I really like it. So I know I shouldn't say everyone, but a lot of people use wood glue, and that's that works. It's glued on with wood glue now, but I want to do the fillets with epoxy. But I like the rock epoxy because it's so thick it won't run. I can lay it down and it'll hold its position. So anyway, that's where I'm at with this. Once this gets dried up, the fillets are done, I'll primer it and then wet sand it and then black paint it, and then I'll be ready to help Aaron build his. The other thing I'm going to be doing that I don't advise Aaron to do, if he's watching or watches the replay, is I am going to be installing a baffle. So I've already started building the baffle offline also. I've already got the back plate, one bulkhead glued in. You can kind of see the fillet. And I've got the eyelet glued in on the threads. Hey, Chuck. So this will eventually... It's okay, FFS. Aaron, I'm showing them my Alpha 3 in preparation for our upcoming build together. I'm going to cheat a little bit and do a few things ahead of time because I'm going to modify my Alpha 3 in ways that I recommend you not do. But just because I want to try different things and modify it, I'm doing some stuff ahead of time. But when it comes down to your motor tube and stuff, I'm going to build this alongside you. I'm going to build it stock. But I am going to install a baffle, which again I don't recommend you do, Aaron. But I'm going to install a BT50 baffle. No, don't do the baffle, and don't punch your altimeter holes because you don't have an altimeter. And I'm going to paint my body black, although you may just want to leave your stock black. But I'm just going to try to make it a little bit more precise. That's all I was showing everybody. And I've already glued my launch lug on because it needs to be on before I paint it. That's really the only thing. So, but I am going to leave the stock motor mount unbuilt so I can build that along with you. So that, and I know that was kind of your stumbling block on day one of the build. So I'll build that alongside you, no problem. And also, because I'm putting a baffle in, I'm going to be running some Kevlar to the shock cord, whereas more than likely Donald's recommending that I send you some Kevlar. I guess I could in lieu of, but if we do that, then it's going to modify our motor mount. So I haven't decided yet how I want to handle that. And I know I'm speaking Greek to you, and I apologize, but there's different ways of setting this up. The instructions have you do what's called a trifold motor mount, a paper mount. I'm not sure yet if that would be advisable for you being your first rocket. It's obviously the easiest way to go, but I don't know, we'll see. So that's kind of where I'm at with the Alpha 3. Just like I said, I'm doing some prep work to get ready for your... Now, once it's built, it's going to look just like yours. There's just going to be more stuff going on inside of mine than is going inside of yours. That's really the only difference. It's going to look the same, though. So let me set the Alpha 3 stuff. Actually, let me set it aside completely because things can happen, and I don't want to damage anything. Oh, okay, I see what you're saying. Just trifold the Kevlar into the mount. Okay, hey, crossover. Let him use the trifold. Hey, they're Curtis, right? Yeah, MH is Curtis. I've since learned that. Let him use the trifold T-bag shock cord mount. It's a classic method of shock cord. That's kind of what I was thinking, MH. I want him to do the shock cord mount, the trifold, but do we want him to do the rubber band or the Kevlar? That's kind of, I guess, the question that's up in the air. Let me set this aside. Okay, decals. And one thing I always do is I scan my decals into my computer before I ever start cutting them and ripping them. So, anyway, something you may want to do, Aaron, or I can actually send you the file if you don't have a scanner. Yeah, let me set all this stuff out of the way. Donald raises a good point. I can't argue that. The rubber bands will get brittle, burn through, all that other nastiness. So, okay. So the other thing, okay, you're probably like, okay, what is this? Well, if you guys remember, I glued one of these in my Yankee, which I'm sure most of you did see successfully flew last week, running the engine hook that I got from Joe, from JC Hobbies. And it flew with our Baffle, which is situated somewhere about there. I'm guessing that's about where it is. And that left me plenty of room up front to run my parachute. Ran a 9-inch. No, I ran a 6-inch. Which, okay, my fault, guys. I should have had more parachutes with me. And that's part of what I'm going to talk about here in a minute. But I did not have a 9-inch or 12-inch with me. I only had a 6-inch. So it came down a little harder than I would have liked. Didn't break anything, but I would have preferred a larger parachute. But no, the engine hook did its job, kept the motor in. The payload bay did its job, held the altimeter. And the new body tube up here held up, so everything's good. Did I get any scorching? Well, good question. That's a great question, Donald, and I'll let you be the judge of it. Let me just go ahead and pull everything out. What do you think? I guess there's a little bit of blue overspray, but looking down the tube there is no scorching. And the shock cord was the previous shock cord. So yeah, it's a little burnt, but that's from its previous uses. So yeah, it does look clean. So the Baffle did its job. Absolutely. Okay, and I did add, if you guys remember, a little, I don't know if I did it on line or not, I added a piece of heat shrink right at the end where it extends out the tube, so I wouldn't get any zippering, or at least help lower the odds of it happening. So yeah, that worked out well too. All right, so let me set this aside. And speaking of the Yankee, I do want to show you one thing. I'll get back to that Baffle here in a minute. But look what came in the mail the other day. Got some QJet D16 8 FJs. Now the 8, if you guys, you may not know, that is the delays in seconds for ejection. For example, this is a motor that I originally was going to fly in it, and 2,000 or bust. This will do it. This is the key right there. But no, the 4-second delay was going to be too short. In other words, on liftoff, after the thrust phase, the rocket's going, 100 plus miles an hour, and it slows down, and hopefully will eject at 0, because you don't want the rocket moving with any velocity when it blows out the parachute. So ideally, you want to get down to 0 miles an hour. So 4 seconds is not enough time to go from 0 to 100. If I use this motor, the Yankee will be still going 50 miles an hour when the motor discharges the parachute. So Joe was gracious, that's the term, gracious enough to do some calculations, and he figured that the 8-second delay would be more appropriate. So I ordered some and I got them in. Now before I fly the Yankee on this, I still want to do a test flight on a B and a C motor. I did the A83 motor on the first flight. I still want to do a B, a C, and then I'm going to throw in the D. So we're not quite ready to hit our 2,000 mark yet, but baby steps. We're going to build up to it slowly. All right. What else did I want to talk about? Let me grab a swig of water. So I mentioned the fact that I did forget to take some parachutes out with me. So I have a whole slew of new parachutes. That one's actually from Quest. That's a 14-inch. I got 2 orange ones. I think this one came with my Alpha 3. Yeah, 6-inch, 9-inch. These are still brand new, and these are all parachutes that came in kits. But you guys know I use the same parachutes over and over again because I use the snap swivels. I can take them off and store them separately. So therefore, I don't have to build a new parachute every time I build a new rocket. So let's see. Don, help me out if I get this wrong. 6-inch, 9-inch, I think 12-inch, 15-inch, 18-inch, if I'm not mistaken. I might have these two reversed, but I'm pretty sure that's the 12 and that's the 15. So I guess technically we should put the 14 in the middle. So what I'm going to do is, I've gone through a lot of chutes before I was using baffles, and a lot of them are burned and got holes in them. And so I'm going to just start. Orange is the 12-inch. That's what I thought. Thank you very much, Curtis. I should have brought a catalog in with me, because the Estes catalog has them all labeled. But I want to, because now I'm using baffles, I want to start with fresh with a whole new set of parachutes. So I'm going to go ahead and get some baffles, or snap swivels, and just tie all of these up and get them prepared and ready to go, and keep my flight box fully stocked with everything I need. So I don't want to make that mistake again. They also make a 24 and a 36-inch. Okay, Estes are they plastic? The parachute rainbow. There you go, exactly. It's like a bag of Skittles on my desk. No, so for the bigger chutes, I do run the Apogee, which is like that silky nylon feel, which those are awesome parachutes. And I just feel bad that I've already got some burn holes in them because I don't have baffles in all of my bigger rockets. But again, moving forward, I will. So this is a project I'm going to be doing here in the near future, is getting these all. And for those of you guys who don't know, like Aaron, for example, when you build your parachute, they come pre-assembled pretty much. You've got all the shroud lines cut to the proper length and already tied off on the corners. So really all you need to do is take the ends of the 3 shroud lines and tie them to your snap swivel, and you're all set to go. So they've really made these a lot easier. Again, I'm going to do those offline. You guys have seen in my build videos how I do the parachutes with the snap swivels. Nothing different. I'm not going to change my techniques at all on those. So I'm going to set those aside. Cheater, yeah, they used to be. I guess some kits, I think MPC rockets, you still have to make them. Whoops, man. What caused that? Must have had an earthquake or something. But pretty much Estes all comes pre-built for you. And the Apogee parachutes, they come pre-stitched with the shroud lines already stitched on too. So yeah, that's going to save you a massive amount of time there, Aaron. What else do I want to show? I got actually a lot of little things to do here. Let's see. We did the Alpha 3. I actually made a checklist because I don't want to forget anything. So I had some questions on a flight I did recently, and it was about my Spirit rocket. If you guys remember, I flew this rocket. Let me get my little cradle here. I flew this the other day, and I did something apparently, unbeknownst to me, quite spectacular. And I didn't even know it at the time. I flew it as a 2-stager, which I've done before. I normally fly with a D12 motor on the booster, followed by a C motor up on the upper stage. Here's the booster right here. This is the part that falls off and just tumbles down to the ground, and I try to find it, which I've always been able to do. Oh, okay, there you go. Very thin. Okay. Yeah, thin is good when you're working with small, compact spaces. That is a definite plus if you could get thin material. So I want to show you, let me show you how the booster works. In fact, let me grab a booster motor. I just happen to have some. Okay, I'll just use the spent one. So whenever you fly with a booster for a 2-stage rocket, you need to have a 0 delay on your booster. So in this case, a D12-0, which means 0 seconds from the moment it goes boom after the thrust is over. And the way these work is you install them in the booster, and obviously you can tell this is a used one. In fact, this is the one I flew the other day. the flight I'm talking about. And that cap just screws down and holds your motor in. It's a little bit of wiggle to it. There's a little bit of play in there, but that's okay. Then they give you this little adapter piece here. Okay, so let me show you how that works. If you're going to fly like the Spirit on a single stage flight, you would take this cap off. Let me grab a C motor, for example. Okay, so here's a C. And it would just slide up in there. And then you just cap it off with your cap. Okay, and then it just launches as you see there. Now, Estes motors, and I'm still learning about this stuff, but these are, the propellant is like a black powder mix. It's called black powder, BP for short. And whenever you try to stage BP to BP, it works. So if I were to, that was again a single stage, but let's say I was going to do a two-stager. Then you use this adapter piece that the booster comes with, and you screw this on. Okay, sounds good, Don. Just, I'll try to remember. So you basically screw that little cap on, and then you see it's actually a little coupler unit with a sleeve on the outer edge, and then it slides into the booster like so. And that is literally all there is to it. And then you just set this up on your stand. You're igniting the bottom motor, obviously the booster. It propels the rocket up, and when it hits the top of the propellant, because there's no delay, it's a -0, it explodes an ejection charge forward up the rocket, which does two things. It blows the booster off, and then this falls back to Earth. That explosive charge goes up the nozzle and ignites the motor up inside the rocket, and once that ignites, then this continues to thrust upward. I did something apparently very different that I didn't even realize I was doing. I decided to use a black powder booster with a different motor on the upper. I used a Q-Jet. Now, these are not black powders. These are... Somebody asked me what FJ stands for. I honestly don't know. Don, I don't know. I could look it up. I just don't know off the top of my head. I'm looking to see if it says... Because the FJ motors are called the Black Maxes. So you'd think they'd be 4 BMs, but they're not. They're FJ. So these are the two motors that I flew the last time out. One flew in the Liberty on the Spirit two-stager, and I also flew one on my NASA SLS. And if you remember, that went higher than I'd ever had the SLS go before. But let me show you the nozzles on these two motors, and let you guess as to which one was in the NASA rocket and which one was in the Spirit. Can you guys tell based on the nozzles which one was in the Spirit two-stager? Left or right? Which one was in this rocket here? Left or right? I'll wait for a second to get someone to type. Which one flew the two-stage for the Spirit? Yep, everyone's... Oh, actually, Alex used an arrow, a finger point. That's right. You can tell because when this thing was up in the back end there, when that booster blew forward, it scorched the outer edge of the nozzle, and as well, some of that fire went up the nozzle and ignited the propellant inside. Now, what makes these two motors different... And I don't have an example to well, maybe I do. Yes, I do. These are the different igniters that these motors come with. Okay, this is... Oh, thank you, Chuck. Fast Jack. Good call. Thank you, Chuck. So this is an Estes igniter. If you guys have ever played with rockets as kids or still do, you'll recognize this as your standard Estes igniter. And the way it works is you take the filament end there that's got the, it's dipped in like a flammable ignition source. And when you plug into the outer ends with your electrical connection, when the electricity passes through it, it actually burns that tip. And burning that tip is what ignites the motor, because this is inserted up into the nozzle all the way to the end. It goes all the way to the end. And I don't want to mess this igniter up, so I'm not going to push it all the way up. But it only goes in about that deep. Okay? Your composite motors use these igniters. So, assuming, well, not assuming, but since they go up the nozzle from that end this way, they go until about there. So you can see how much higher up the nozzle channel goes into this. So to ignite this motor, you've got to heat it up way up in the front here, whereas the Estes motors, they ignite closer down here. So when I flew this motor, and this was the one that's scorched, that's why you can tell this one wasn't scorched, because it didn't have any ejection coming at it. So this is what flew the SLS rocket. The heat from the booster motor had to travel all the way up the channel and ignite. Core versus end burning. Okay. Apparently what I did is either super rare, or they say it's never been done before. I don't believe that, but a lot of people are like, wow, you can't start up a composite motor with an ejection charge from a black powder motor. And to that I say, well, it can be done because I did it. But I wasn't actually setting out to prove anything. I just wanted to see how high I could go with a D motor. That was all I was trying to do. Hey, Tim. There's your card. I'll open it here in a minute, bud. Thanks. I didn't want to open it up before you showed up. So, Jay's got the same wood glue. This is actually my second bottle that I've gone through in a year while building rockets. Probably used the majority of it on rebuilds than initial builds, but anyway. So I want to show you guys how this all worked. Very interesting that it did work. Now, because people say it's not possible, I'll be honest with you, I'm hesitant to try it again. I'm thinking, well, maybe it was just a fluke and I lucked out and it did ignite. Because if it doesn't ignite, guys, what's going to happen is your rocket is going to remain intact, nose cone on. It's going to go up to apogee, stop, and then fall down, and then quickly accelerate at a ballistic rate of speed until it hits the ground in this fashion, and will obliterate anything up in the nose. And as you know, I run my altimeters up here. It's going to scrunch the body tube. It will destroy the rocket if it doesn't eject. Well, it can't eject if it's not burning initially. So I don't know. I'll have to. I can do a ground test. That's true. Hey, hobbyist. Terminal velocity. That's right. That is exactly right. So that's kind of the story and the background on that flight. Now you may want to go back and watch. Now what's interesting was, and I think I commented, as it was climbing, when the booster popped off, it did not immediately ignite the upper stage. There was a delay. And there shouldn't be a delay, but there was. And I don't know if it's because it took a while for the heat to actually ignite up in the core or what. But that did scare me, I'll admit. Because I was imagining the loss of the equipment up in the nose where I had my altimeters. So, in fact, myself, I'll probably want to go back and watch that video again and see what kind of delay. You know, whenever you're dealing with models like model airplanes or model rockets, 1 second delay in anything feels like an eternity. So I'm sure that I panicked for that millisecond that it didn't ignite. But it did ignite, fortunately, and all's well. That ends well, as they say. But yeah, we'll see about doing that again in the future. So let me scoot all this stuff out of the way. I don't want to lose these igniters. They do give you extras, though. That's the nice thing. They always give you at least one, maybe two extra igniters when you buy rocket motors. Okay, so why do I have this baffle? I keep alluding to it. It's because I am going to build on a live stream. I'm going to do an opening tonight, but I probably won't actually start the build. But guys, I do want to build my mini Mean Machine while doing a live stream. This will take, you know, several streams. It's not going to be a one and done deal. It's going to take a while. But I do want to build a Mean Machine because I thoroughly enjoy my regular Mean Machine. You guys know I've flown it 3 times now. 2 standard flights with it, and then one where I actually had it detach, and the nose portion came down under one parachute, and the lower stage came down under a larger parachute. The 36-inch was down here. My 24 was up here. Now here's something you guys don't know, and I didn't allude to it in my flight video. I actually was flying this rocket with 3 parachutes on board. I'm starting to PC Aaron Ashby because he's my last name. Yes, I know he's a Met, not a Yankee or Dodger. That's cool. Yeah, Aaron Ashby, that's awesome. That'd be like me collecting Tim Duncan. Or, you know, somebody like that. It is and it isn't, Donald. I'm trying to save it for a surprise, to be honest with you. Yeah, so I was actually running a 3rd parachute, and I'll tell you why. The nose cone, when the Mean Machine is built stock, only the nose cone portion pops off. The whole body, this part is one unit, with the exception of a screw together part in the middle. But the nose cone is supposed to pop off, so I leave the nose cone separate so I can still put my altimeters into it. But then when I put it on, I wrap it with tape, and that's actually where I tape my camera. When you see the onboard camera shots, it's from up here with the tape that's holding the nose cone on. Okay, where are my altimeters and electronics? They're all in the nose cone. So what happens if, on ejection, this nose cone does break the tape seal and go flying off? It's going to come down at, like Chuck said, terminal velocity with all my electronics on board. So what I've done is every time I fly it, I have a small 12-inch parachute that's wadded up, and it's tucked into the upper portion of the bay here. So if this ever does break off accidentally, it will come down under a 12-inch parachute. So again, 3 chutes go up, 2 are utilized, 1 is an emergency in case the nose cone comes off. So there you go. Most of his cards are cheap. Well, I'll be honest with you, I never even heard of him. So I guess he's not one of the prime players, but that's cool. Awesome. Oh, Jay's been getting into him. Does he do TTMs? Interesting. For those of you who are rocket guys and not baseball card guys, TTM stands for through the mail, where you can actually send players. It's usually used for older, retired players, but you can send them to their home, their old baseball cards. They will sign them and send them back to you, assuming you've put in a prepaid envelope, what is it called? Pre-postaged envelope inside that they can put the cards in and just send right out, because you don't want to charge them anything, obviously. So anyway, yeah, TTM's kind of fun. So Aaron Ashby, that's cool. He's a newer guy? Okay. So why, or I should say, what am I going to do to this to be different? Because I never leave a rocket stock. You know me. I like it to look stock at the end, but I like the guts of it to have modifications to it. So I do plan on building it with the 2 stages. I'm going to insert a baffle near the middle. Now, I was going to use it as a coupler in lieu of the coupler that they give you. I was going to use this as the coupler. The only thing is, it's not a solid piece, whereas like a coupler is solid cardboard throughout the perimeter of it. So I don't know what kind of hold this would give me as far as coupling would do. So that being said, I'm probably going to glue this up maybe an inch or half inch up, and then still use the stock coupler here to glue the bottom tube onto it. Thank you, Jay. Self-addressed stamped envelope. Why couldn't I think of that? S-A-S-E. You're right. Oh, man, Curtis. That is a shame. That's a bummer. Oh, well, Tim, I would say the package came out clean. I could feel the top loaders in there. But I think we're good, buddy. So, yeah, we'll get to that here in a bit. I wouldn't worry about it. I think you did a good job. Yeah, exactly. No need to skimp. I can afford to lose an inch up the tube because I've still got over a foot to play with as far as putting a parachute. If you can't fit a parachute in a 12-inch body tube, then you're doing something wrong. So, yeah, I like the way Donald put that. You got plenty of room. Don't skimp out. So I'm definitely going to use that, though. And tell you what, since Tim is here, I'm going to take a break from this. I'm going to come back to this. But I'm going to take a break and open up Tim's package and show you guys what I got. You know, I guess I'm the same way. When I used to have my card sales, I'm like, I pull these cards out of packages, and who would want these cards? Who would want, in my opinion, a Ronald Acuna Jr. card? I don't collect Ronald Acuna Jr. I have no interest in the Braves. I don't care for the guy. I mean, I'm sure he's a nice guy, but I don't collect them. So what do you do with them? Well, you can either store them in a box or you can sell them to somebody who would appreciate them. Well, that's exactly what happened the other day with Tim. He was having a sale, and he had all sorts of different cards from different players. And being from Kentucky, and I won't give too much away, Tim, but he's a Kentucky boy, he had some Diamondback cards who, you know, what is he going to do with the Diamondback card? And I showed up, and I decided, you know what? I want those cards for my PC because I do specifically collect the player that's in here. So that's why I went ahead and made the purchase. And there you go, Tim. Quick shout out. I mentioned this in the email I sent you. Throw darts at them? No. Oh, to the other players, maybe. Or use them in your bicycle spokes, right? Like we used to do as kids. But yeah, Tim is having another sale tomorrow at 7 Central. That is, 5 p.m. Pacific Coast, which is where I'm at. And that would be 8 o'clock Eastern. Yeah. No, I know, Don. So, you never throw darts at Diamondback cards. Never, 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 never. So, without any further ado, I'm sure Tim's anxious, and I am too, to see these in person. Let's trim the edge off. Always be careful not to cut into cardboard. Let's see. What can I use for a reveal card? Let me pull out. Here we go. Let me pull. I opened this the other day. I'm going to use a relic of Tony Gwynn. You know what, Don? I'm all for that, to be honest with you. I'm all for that. So I'm going to use my Tony Gwynn relic card as a reveal card for what I've got here. And, okay, they are upside down, so let me go this way. There we go. All right. Envelope is empty. Yeah, I don't think many people in here are going to complain about that. Only throw at the Astros. Yeah, people have good reason to hate them. All right, guys. So these are the cards that I picked up from Tim in his sale, and I'm excited to get them and add them to my PC. And again, thank you, Tim, for sending them to me and for even offering the sale. I'm going to turn this around because they were upside down. So let me do a little magic trickery here. Okay, now they're facing the right direction. All right, here we go. First card up. It's going to be a base card from Donruss, rated rookie. See if any of you guys can recognize him before I show the name. Anybody recognize that face? No guessing, Tim. You know. Chuck knows. Chuck collects the guy too. He's absolutely right. That is, in fact, Pavin Smith's rated rookie card from Donruss. And again, this is the base card. And what makes it special about the 2 cards that I bought from Tim was I got the base and I got the pink parallel of the same card. Check that out. So 2 Pavin Smith cards, 1 base, 1 pink parallel. Absolutely gorgeous. After the stream, these are going to go right into my PC for Pavin and add to my collection. So yeah, very nice. Thank you very much, Tim. I know it was a win-win for both of us. So there you go. So yeah, whatever you did, Tim, it worked. Absolutely no problem in the shipping. The package is good. I know it. They printed non-machinable, and I guess they didn't run it through machine, but no. And the top loaders definitely worked. Yeah, you definitely got to use a top loader if you're going to send them like that to protect them, and they did their job. The cards, in fact, I'll go ahead and slide the card out. Oh yeah, cards mint. Cards mint. Absolutely perfect. Beautiful. All right. So there we go. I've got a couple stands here that I'm going to use. Yeah. Jay says, I'm brand new to this card. It's a beaut. But again, I'm a little biased. The pink card, yes, I bought that for me, and I bought that one for Ramona. She'll actually appreciate you saying that. That's funny. She won't appreciate the card itself, but she'll appreciate your sentiments. All right. Tell you what, since we're in the baseball mood, we still got 8 folks watching. Let's open up our Fairfield box. I'm kind of in the mood now. After getting those cards from Tim, I'm anxious to rip into these. So, for those of you who don't know what Fairfield boxes are, Don may not know. Everyone finds that funny. So, these are called Fairfield boxes because they're produced by a company called Fairfield. The Fairfield Company. This box costs $4.99 at Walgreens. So, if you go to Walgreens, usually it's in the toy section. And that's where they, have their Pokemon cards and whatever else cards. They usually have football and baseball in boxes like this. And they typically come with anywhere between 40 and 50 cards. And 1 in 8 contain a hit. So 1 out of 8 boxes of these will have either an autograph or a relic card. How many cards per box? Yeah. The old Fairfields, Don, back in the day, 2 years ago, up to 2 years ago, they used to have 200 cards in here. 100 cards with 1 pack, a sealed pack. Now they've brought them back down to about half a box, and it's about 50 cards at the most. And yeah, it's hit or miss. But here's the thing. They're fun. That's I don't know. That's a good question, Aaron. I don't know. You'd think basketball would, maybe because there's not enough vintage. No, vintage. They've got vintage too. But these are all older cards, Don. Fairfield buys out collections from people. They're old. Usually they're base cards that aren't worth much, and then they'll just repackage them and sell them as is. And but again, it's $5. You're not going to get maybe not even $1 worth of cards, but it's just fun to go through and open up. So that's the way I see it. I'm going to be optimistic, and I'm going to put up a stand here because I think we're going to get a hit. Self nuts. Oh, yeah, absolutely, Don. Yeah, you can still buy them by the case. I saw someone find them at a sports store in the U.S. Really? Sporting goods store? Interesting. I think I missed. Chuck said something about a package, and I apologize. I was kind of rambling on. Okay, whatever I clicked on, I just closed my stream on my computer. Okay, never mind. Chuck, if you put something, I missed it about sending out a package or something. I apologize. My laptop internet just crashed on me. All right, so let's rip this open and see what we get. Oh, yeah, the complete sets. You can still get those, Don. Absolutely. Walmart, in fact, sells them now. But that's a hit or miss thing too. Not all Walmarts sell cards anymore, but some Walmarts you can get full, complete boxes. So, for example, there you go. That's what we're getting in a... These boxes used to be jam-packed full of cards. Now they're maybe a third with a pack. And our pack is going to be... This will be fun. Is that 89 or 90? Oh, 88. 1988 Donruss Wax Pack. So that'll be fun to open up. So let me set that there. So let's see what we get out of this Fairfield. Okay, box is empty. See, up in there, there's layers of cardboard that will drive you nuts if you try to open it from the top. No gum in the Donruss, but there will be a puzzle piece, which I'm not interested in the puzzle piece. But again, you can buy these in Arizona. I know I've got it. I've actually picked these up in Walgreens in Arizona. So, Don, if you're interested, check out your local Walgreens in the toy section. $4.99. All right, let's see what we get here. Angle this down a little bit. A Grace rookie card, that would be good. Absolutely, that'd be good. Hey, there we go, Kenny Lofton. Don, do you know anything about him and what college he may have gone to? I say that because he played in Tucson there, but he's a U of A Wildcat. I should collect Kenny Lofton, but I don't. But no, he's a former U of A Wildcat, so that's what kind of makes him cool. Okay, then we got some newer cards here. So they do have the newer stuff. Here's some 2021. Mike Brousseau with the Rays. Okay, here's an Upper Deck MVP of Christian Guzman. Oh, okay, I see that, Chuck. Thanks. Awesome. And, you know, first of all, I should check. I don't see a relic in here. I don't see any thick cards. But we still may get an auto. We've got a David Nava Gypsy Queen card. Is that the Red Sox? Yes, Red Sox. Spread the lobe. Yeah, for those of you with long earlobes, please spread them around. That's funny. Yeah, stupid autocorrect, right? Here's Nomar Garcia Parra for the LA Dodgers. Don may recognize him. There's Rich Gale for the Royals. This is an old 82, I believe. Yeah, 82 Topps card. Look at that vintage card. And we got an old Fleer 89. Dave LaPointe. Andy Van Slyke for the Pirates. Fidel Compres for the Louisville Redbirds. There you go, Aaron. And Tim, another Kentuckian. You guys know about the Louisville Redbirds? You familiar with them? AAA team. I'll set that one aside. See if you guys know anything about that team. Okay, then we got a Mike Boddicker, Upper Deck 92 for the Royals. Mel Rojas for the Expos. Shout out to Alex. They're a Canadian team. Oh, they have a different name now? Okay. Cool. Here's another AAA card. Oh, my word. Check it out, guys. Tim, are you watching? What do you think about that? Andy Ashby for the Red Barons out of Scranton. The Scranton Wilkes Bear Red Barons. Pre-rookie 91. And Andy Ashby. It's not Aaron, who you say you collected. But what? I know, Alex. See, remember, Don, last week I was telling you that me and Ethan on his card channel, we have a knack for pulling cards at the right time for the right people. Well, there you go. Andy Ashby. That is phenomenal. In fact, I'm going to set it up here between my Smiths that I got from Tim in honor of him. So there you go. Yep, Don's a believer. Don's a believer. All right, Scott Sanderson for the Cubs. I saw MA. I thought it might have been a Mark Grace. But there you go, Alex. Manny Lee for the Blue Jays. For those of you who don't know, Jay's Mix he's our resident Canadian, lives up in the Toronto area, and obviously collects Blue Jays. So there you go, Alex. There's Rick Rochelle for the Giants, Fleer 90. We got a backwards card. We got Brooke Jacoby for the Indians. Am I allowed to say that? Indians? So this is Donruss 88. So this is what you're going to see in that pack right there, this design. There's Howard Bailey for the Tigers on 84 tops. Ottoby McDowell, 86 tops. And, we got a shiny Stadium Club card here. I love Stadium Clubs. Tony Phillips for the Giants. What year is this? 92. Okay, here's an old 87 tops. Glenn Wilson for the Phillies. Yeah, I won't be able to see it. So sorry about that, Aaron. Yeah, I am on the phone. I'm gonna take a pause here. I'm trying to get back on YouTube on my computer so I can see the chat on my computer screen, because I can miss things on the phone. Oh well, they just came in. Aaron, let me see if I can see them and not lose you guys. Where'd they go? Oh, are we back? I think we're connected, guys. No, Aaron, you did nothing wrong. You sent me the pictures. I made the mistake of digging them up. I actually went into my text and I found them. And I guess when it does that, it does pause the stream. So we're back. But what's unfortunate was I was talking to you while I was looking at the pictures, and apparently you guys didn't hear my commentary. But that cake, Aaron, tell Jess I am salivating over those pictures. That strawberry looks good. So yeah, I'm all about that cake. No, it just paused it. It just put things on hold for a bit. Yeah, my bestie amiga. That's right. I will definitely show her Mona, and now I'm going to want her to make me one. It is so good. Well, there was a big chunk missing out of the cake, so I'm assuming that's your piece. So I'm sure you all are tired of looking at Glenn Wilson for the Phillies, so I'm going to move on and see who's next. Here we got Andy Bennis for the the Padres. See, I should have left it on this one because it's a Padre. Yeah, that was one good-looking piece of cake. All right. I got a Willie Randolph for the Oakland A's. I hope they come to Vegas. There's a chance that Oakland might move the A's to Las Vegas. And if they do, that would be awesome. Not because I would root for them, I would not. But that would give the D-backs a chance to come play here locally so I can watch them in person. Jesse Barfield with the Yankees. There's your dartboard piece there, Don. Okay, Ernie Witt for the Blue Jays. 87 tops. Jose Uribe for the Giants. Send one piece up there. We've got a Jack Lazorko, Donruss 88 for the A's. I'm sorry, the Angels. And a Ron Robinson for the Cincinnati Reds. There you go, Aaron. See, Aaron makes a big deal about his cake, and he gets a card to go with it. Speaking of that, I'm not saying anything, guys, but I do have the game on, the Field of Dreams game, the Reds and the Cubs. I've got it on the TV here. But I'm not going to say anything in case anyone's recording it or what, but I'm watching it. Hey, Cincinnati baseball cards. Hello. Okay, Don, are you watching? Cincinnati baseball cards just said hi right when I pulled a Cincinnati Reds card. See how that works? It always happens. All right, Dickie Thon. There's the team we all love to hate. Dickie Thon on the Astros. And we got a sticker, guys. We got a sticker. Don, you thought that was creepy? This is even creepier. There I am talking about the Reds in the Field of Dreams game. Cincy shows up. Aaron is at home eating a strawberry cake that's red. And there's a sticker to go with it. See, you can't make this stuff up. Kevin Bass for the Astros, yeah. Rafael Palmeiro. And who are the Reds playing today? The Cubs. That's right. Rafael Palmeiro with the Cubs. There's Junior Ortiz with the Pirates. David Valle for the Seattle Mariners. Gary Pettis for the Tigers. There's Brett Saberhagen. Looks like we're not going to get a hit, though, out of this box. I'm drinking a Coke and eating Lay's red chips. There you go. That sounds good right now. A Coke. I could go for a Coke after this. Brent Saberhagen for the Kansas City Royals. Another Astros. What's up with all the Astros here? Andujar Cedeno. Top Stadium Club. And there's a Padre, Fred McGriff. What do they call him? Crime Dog. Okay, getting down to the wire here, we got an Eddie Murray, Hall of Famer. There we go. Hall of Famer for the Orioles. Two more to go. Ken Howell for the Phillies. And our final card is a Glenn Wilson for the Phillies. Another Glenn Wilson. Wasn't that the card we were stuck on earlier with that 87 design? Where's it at? Yeah, look at that. 2 Glenn Wilsons. We didn't get a Fairfield double. Typically we get duplicate cards, but we did not in this case. Unless I pull a duplicate out of that 88, which is possible. Entirely possible. All right, let's get into it. Yeah, you're right. There's not a single White Sox card. So, Don, they buy these off people's collections, literally. They probably contact stores. You know, people take their old cards into card stores. Almost have to give them away to the card stores, and I guess the card stores could sell them to Fairfield. But I'm sure there's different avenues as to how they acquire them. But, yeah, these just come out of people's collections. So there is our puzzle piece. And no Diamondbacks. I didn't get a single Diamondback out of Fairfield. Don and I were gypped. Completely. Not a single 80s or 90s. Technically, you could get a 90s. Never mind. No 70s or 80s Diamondback cards. Here we go. Hubie Brooks for the Expos. Steve Ontiveros for the A's. Bill Pecota for the Royals. Andy Allenson for the Indians. Tim Cruz, not Tom Cruise, Tim Cruz for the Dodgers. Dan Pasqua for the Yankees. Dennis Oil Can Boyd for the Red Sox. It's a Reds Fairfield Thursday night. That's right. That's what it is. Frank Tanana for the Tigers. Jay Aldrich for the Brewers. Jim Dwyer for the Orioles. Bob Sebra for the Expos. John Pulowski for your Chicago White Sox. There you go, Chuck. Try to focus there. There we go. That's funny. Tim and Tom could be twins. Oh, did they look the same? I didn't even really look at it. That's all I can say about that. Yeah, it's about time. And he's happy about it too. Good old Mr. John Pulowski is thrilled to see a White Sox card. Squirrel. Oh, is that his nickname? Where'd he go? Is that his nickname, Squirrel? I did not know that. Chuck's laughing. Okay, moving on. Bill Buckner for the Angels. Dave Meads for the Astros. Terry Pendleton, there we go. And our final card is Chris James for the Phillies. A lot of Phillies cards. So, my goodness. My favorite card out of this, you know what? I'm just going to have to go with John Pulowski for the White Sox because it gave Chuck some happiness, because I don't think anything in here applies to anybody else. Way to go, Chuck. Chuck's the winner. I do kind of like that Louisville Redbirds card. That's kind of cool. All right, so let me scoot the cards out of the way. Bill Buckner, the most famous error ever. I don't know the story. Oh, that is funny, Aaron. That is funny. You know what? I was going to jokingly try and say it, but like Beetlejuice, but I'm not even going to risk it. Not going to risk it. That is funny. All right. So, Tim, thank you again, buddy. Much appreciated. Don't forget, guys, tomorrow, 7 o'clock Central Time, Tim's channel. If somebody could throw Tim's link in there for me, that way people can click on it and go subscribe. That way they'll get the notification. If somebody could do that for me, please. Don, if you could tell me about the error. I'm sure other people know about it, but I am ignorant to it. I don't know. So please let me know about the error. Chuck, don't even. Chuck, I thought we were friends. Squirrel. That was funny. All right. Back to the Mean Machine, the mini Mean Machine. I want to crack this open, guys, and kind of let you know what I plan on doing. And let's see what I can do online. And what we have look ahead of us. If you remind me, I might... Oh, there you go. Thank you, Alex. There's Tim's channel link. So if you guys aren't subscribed, check it out. That way you'll be able to find his sale tomorrow. So, Chuck, don't be mean to me. I'm I'm not a historian when it comes to baseball. Game 6, 87 World Series, led an easy ground. Oh, really? Was it 87 was the year of the earthquake, right? In Oakland? That much I think I know. Or was that 89? That might have been 89. Never mind. See, I'm not good with baseball history. Oh, 86. Oh, see, I knew it was 86, but you threw me with the 87. I'm just kidding. I didn't know that. Yeah, I'm serious. I know, Chuck. I'm sorry. Don't cry. But ask me about NASA or space history, and I'm all on it. Aviation, I'm all on it. But baseball, I enjoy watching it. I'm a huge fan now, but I just couldn't tell you much history. Sad. Yep. It's a sad... Okay, how was it? It was a sad day in Mudville because Kevin just struck out on his knowledge of baseball history. Oh, my goodness. Okay, Neil and Buzz. Great. Was it Shepard? I know the last one was Cernan. Yes, okay. Thank you. And his famous golf shot. Okay, I redeemed myself, Don. Thank you for that. Apollo 14 Commander. I'm going to have to think about that. Okay, I'm ripping open the Mean Machine. Yeah, thank you, Alex, for that reminder. 14 Commander. Oh, goodness. Oh, it wasn't a question. Okay, there's a point. Because you know what? His name was coming to my mind, but I'm like, I already said that once. Okay, that's funny. You got me on that one. Trick question, but it wasn't a question. That's why it was tricky. All right, Mean Machine, guys. Pulling out the face card. I'm going to make some major modifications again to this. Oh, I just pulled the... the decals were stuck to the back. Eek. Okay, I think we're okay. Those are the exact decals that are on the full-size one. So that's going to match. That's going to match the big one. I'm going to do the same color scheme. Same everything. As far as aesthetics go. So here's our two body tubes. So these are 18 millimeter body tubes. Fancily named BT20s. Yeah, there's the coupler joint. So that's going to be... That's a long rocket. Here, let me just slide all this out. Set the bag aside. Okay, here's our nose cone. Let's see what kind of fit. That's a skinny little nose cone. Look at the shoulder on that, though. That is a long shoulder. Nice fit. I believe that was Carpenter, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, astronauts to fly. Okay, I was thinking Mercury. Mercury flights. I wasn't thinking Gemini flights. Oh, that's easy. That's Deke Slayton. Don, that was a trick question, Don. You almost got me, but Deke Slayton was the last. All right, so here's our little bag of goodies. Comes with a 9-inch parachute. Guys, I'm more than likely going to be putting at least a 12-inch. I don't think I'll be using a 9-inch. It might be worth buying simply to stock up on some beat. There you go. Not a bad idea, Curtis. Don, you almost got me. I was thinking of the Mercury flights themselves, not the original 7, but yeah, Deke was the last. And it was with the Russians. Okay, so, well, before I show you the modifications, here are the fins. Oh, you got me, Don. You got me. That was a trick question. It was a trick question. It was a double trick question. Yes, I know, John flew STS-95. Ah! Okay. Anyway, and look, in my frustration, I broke my fin sheet out here. So what I'm going to do with these fins, guys, is I'm going to paper these fins. And if you guys don't know what papering fins is, I will show you. But instead of sanding them like glass, primering them and painting them, I'm going to glue copy paper onto the skin of this on both sides, and then that will take the paint and it'll make it a lot smoother. So I'm going to paper fin my fins. Those are pretty thick for the size of a fin. But anyway, so there we go. There's our fin set, all 4. Same shape as the original. A little information, our manual. Okay, so here's something I'm going to point out to you. In fact, let me just open this up and show you. This is the engine hook. You say, that looks kind of small. Well, it is. Because this rocket is designed to fly on A3s and A10s. Okay, what's an A3 or an A10? Well, let me show you. Here's an A10. This is a brand new A10 motor. So this little motor is going to fly that monster rocket up to only, it says 225 feet. Which, to me, is not satisfying. That doesn't do it for me. I want more power. I want to run, these are 13 millimeter motors. I want to run 18 millimeter motors. And what's preventing me from doing it? Well, a couple things. One, the motor mount that the kit comes with. I'll show you. This is the motor mount. The motor slides into the motor mount like so. Now this obviously is glued inside the body tube, like so, using, where are the rings at? Let's see if I can show you here. So you take a ring, well, that's super tight. Looks like I may have to peel off a layer. But anyway, so this ring will glue to the outer side of the white tube. And then this will glue into the body. So then this is inside there like so. I don't want to fly like that. I don't want to fly these small motors. I want to fly 18 millimeter motors. Burnished it with my fingernail. Let me try that. Good call, Don. That's why I like having you guys in here, okay? Let's see if that'll accept it. No. I think it needs one thin layer taken out. Yeah. That's okay. The point though being, I'm going to fly 18 millimeter motors. This is just a regular AA3. This is like the cheapest motor you can get by itself into the tube. So it's called a minimum diameter rocket. By that meaning the rocket motor fits directly inside the body tube itself. Okay, so the other issue is if this hook is made for this size rocket motor, okay, we have a problem here. Major problem. That's okay because I've got extra full-size engine hooks. So I'm going to be adapting this hook into this body tube the same way that Joe from JC Hobbies does his. And I'm going to do it ahead of time, unlike my Yankee where I had to retrofit it. So I'm going to actually include this engine hook as part of the outer. It's going to be on the outside, but it'll be covered up and out of sight when all is said and done. So that's the plan. So I'm going to have the rocket's going to look just like you see in the picture, with the exception of it's going to fly bigger motors. I mean, technically, guys, when all is said and done, look at this. I can put a D in there. A D. When it's designed to fly on an A10. And you think 225 feet's impressive. Imagine what that D is going to eventually do with it. But I'll break it in slowly. I'll fly some A's, B's, C's before I ever try the D. But yeah, that's the plan there. And then again, let me see how this would even fit. If I took this baffle and slid it halfway up, see there's a little wobble to it because of the pieces are kind of cut out the sides. That won't, I don't think, make a very secure bond as a coupler. So I'm going to slide this, well, it actually would be going this way. I'm going to slide it all the way up to about that point there, and then use the coupler that they give you to attach the two tubes. Yeah, that'll make a much better joint. And like Don pointed out earlier, when you got this much length you're playing with, you can afford to move that up a little bit. And then, of course, instead of running this rinky-dink, very short actually, my goodness, that is very short for considering how long the rocket is. That is not very long cord, shot cord. But no, I'm going to use some Kevlar cord and run that full length. So, all right, I'm kind of getting to the end now, guys. I showed you everything I planned on showing you. I'm going to start building the Mean Machine in my next live stream. I'll show you guys how we paper the fins, and I'm going to start working on the engine hook modification. And also, in fact, I can use this ring because it's basically a centering ring for the motor tube. I can use this as an additional stopper up ahead of the engine hook to help keep the engine hook and the motor from busting through and going up the rocket. So I'm going to use, I will still use one of these for that purpose. And the nose cone, let me see that nose cone again. I'm looking at, if I cut that open, what I may be dealing with as far as being able to mount my altimeter inside. We'll have to play with that idea. Maybe if I just cut it flush here, if I cut that hook off completely, I can drill a couple holes in those two flat spots and run a tether of Kevlar between those. But then I'm losing a lot of my shoulder. I don't know if I want to sacrifice that much shoulder either. But you know what? We've got so much tube to deal with. I can run the altimeter in the body tube itself. So, yep, look at that. Don, you and I were just thinking the same thing. And you know what, too? I could just go back to my payload bay that I built. I could add another inch or 2 inches onto that, the front of the tube. Although the color would be off, the white. I think I'll just run it in the body tube, like Don recommended. So that's the plan with that. I can't think of anything else I wanted to talk. Do you guys have any rocket-related questions or ideas or suggestions or anything you want to talk about? The only thing, Don, about putting it in the nose cone is it prevents it from jamming up. I've had in the past, I believe, the altimeter would jam into the side of the cardboard and block the parachute from coming out. But if you can squeeze it into the nose cone, then the nose cone will pull it out, and it can't kind of lodge itself. You could cut off the top of the tube and make oh, that's true. Convert the top 2 inches into a payload bay. Well, that makes darn good sense. You're absolutely right. I like that idea very much. Because realistically, I would never fly this without an altimeter. So I might as well just convert the top portion into one. Yeah. Excellent idea. Don, you said earlier you had a favor to ask. Did you want to bring that up on here, or did you want to text me afterwards? Let me, okay, they do give you 2 little lunch lugs. I don't want to lose those. There's another parachute. Always good. And, just because they give you something you don't use, don't ever throw these away. You can save things and use them for future projects. All right, Alex, have a good night, buddy. Thanks for jumping in. I'm still starving after seeing that picture of Aaron's strawberry cake. So I got to go down and eat something. Ramona's at home to yell at me. But with my luck, she'll walk in the door right when my mouth is full of potato chips. So I better not risk it. Oh, fun stream. Okay, yeah, Alex, have a great day. Use the Yankee card as There you go, Curtis. Use the Yankees card as wadding. Classic. That would be funny. Can you show me one of your radios how to do an aileron roll? Yeah, I can do that. I can show you different types of rolls if you'd like. All right, guys, give me 30 seconds. I'm going to run into a different room and grab a transmitter, and I'll be right back. Don, if you want to explain what I'm doing to them while I go get it, they may understand it better. Okay. Don is saying, yeah, it's an RC question, obviously. When I try in real flight, the plane just turns and does not roll. It doesn't roll. Well, that might be a setting in your system, because even the trainers that I've flown in real flight will roll. But anyway, here's a transmitter. What plane specifically are you trying to roll? The Sport Cub S2. Yeah, this is actually an old 72 megahertz, guys, that I converted to 2.4. You can see the antenna on top. It's a 9 cap. I absolutely love this radio, but I've got the 2.4 conversion module on the back, so I'm able to fly all my 2.4 with it. Hey, Sportsline, how you doing? Safe is off. Oh, you used to fly helis too. I used to have an old Colt Enforcer, if you remember that, Curtis. I had a Colt Enforcer, I want to say it was a 32 engine, a little OS 32 on it. But you still have that radio? That's cool. Okay, so aileron roll, I mean, the roll itself is simple. You just give full aileron. I don't know why it's not... I'm actually launching Real Flight on my computer right now to see if I can replicate what you got. Now I've got Real Flight 8. I think you've got 9. I don't know if I've got the Sport Cub S2 on it. But your safe is off, so you should be able to go full aileron. I don't know about that, Don. Well, I do fly in master's class, so technically I do fit the bill there. It's loading, but yeah, I'll show you different techniques though for rolls. Once you figure out how it works, as far as getting the program to actually fly properly on the simulator, there's different types of rolls. For those of you who don't know anything about what I'm holding here, don't be confused with all the switches and knobs. Those are for other things you don't need to worry about. But your typical transmitter has 4 channels. You've got left and right. The left stick is your throttle. That's why it stays in position. That's idle, full throttle, and it stays where you leave it. All the other ones are on springs. See, everything returns back to center. Even the left stick, left and right. So this is your rudder on the tail of your plane. This is what turns the plane in this motion. That's your yaw control. And that's controlled with your left stick, left and right. Your right stick controls your ailerons, which are the parts of the wings, the outer edges that go up and down. Those are your ailerons, left and right. That's what makes the plane roll. And Don's asking about how to make a plane roll. I assume he's talking about, a full 360, and that's using the aileron. Now your elevator, this is your pitch control, up and down. Pulling back, you go up. Yep. Oh, no problem, Aaron. Do what you got to do, buddy. It's getting late. Now we're talking RC airplanes. So this makes the plane dive down toward the ground. This makes the plane go up higher and higher. Of course, if you're inverted and you pull back, the plane's going to pull down into the ground. So you got to be aware of, your orientation. So Don's asking me, how do I do a roll? Okay. First of all, you want speed. So I'm going to assume you're at full throttle on your simulator. Especially on a trainer. You need speed, you need plenty of air going over the wing to enable the ailerons to do their thing. Streams are more important, Faith. So once you've got the speed going, you want to pitch up just a little bit. You want to pull the nose up because in a roll, you're going to lose some altitude. So before you begin your roll, you want to pitch up a little bit. Okay? So you'll pitch up, and then immediately give full aileron. Full aileron. And as it's rolling, now don't hold up an elevator in the roll. When you roll, you should be neutral on pitch. Okay? So pitch up, back to neutral, and then aileron. The plane will eventually come back around, and hopefully you won't lose too much altitude. That's a simple aileron roll. Nothing to it, just pitch up, neutral again, and then full aileron. And when it's level, you go back to neutral. And then, obviously correct if you're diving, pull back a little bit more. Now, if you want to go a little deeper into the roll, you can start pumping your elevator at the right time. So by that I mean pitch up, full aileron. Let's see if I can do this with my left hand. Okay, I'll do left rolls. Pitch up, left aileron, all the way. And when the plane's inverted, right at about just before you start to hit, perfect inversion, you bump. Watch my right thumb. I'm bumping down. Just a little bump, and that pitches the nose back up a little bit, and then back to neutral on the stick, and then let the roll continue out. So I don't pinch. I'm a thumb flyer. I fly with my thumbs, but I'm going to pinch just so you can see what I'm saying. So you would roll, inverted, a little down. Now if you're going to do continual rolls, then you roll, inverted, down, level, up, inverted, down. There's a lot of jokes to go with that. But so that's how you maintain altitude with your elevator while you're rolling. Yeah, Katie's the only way you got out of that one, Aaron. Okay, now let's go a step further, Don. Let's say you've got the elevator pump down pat. You've got it. It's second nature to you. You figured it out. Okay, now what more can you do to smooth out your rolls? Okay, elevator up, neutral, right aileron. Okay, now we're rolling. Now right here we're at what's called knife edge. Right, the plane is completely sideways. There is something we can do to help keep the nose from dropping while in knife edge. Because in knife edge, your wings are doing nothing for your lift. Your wings are not producing any upward force to counteract the downward force of gravity. You have no lift. The only lift you have is the side of your airplane, the body. So what you can do is you can pitch the nose up using your rudder. Because remember, rudder controls yaw. So back here, roll. We're at knife edge. Assuming this is staying to the right, leave that to the right. When you're at knife edge, give a little left rudder. Not full, but just a little left rudder. And then back to neutral. Inverted. My arms doesn't... I need Mari to show me this example because she can rotate her arms like this. Back to elevator, or inverted. Down elevator. Okay. And then over to the next knife edge. This knife edge would require right rudder. So right rudder, back to neutral to level. So let's see if I can show you here by pinching. I'm not a pincher, but... So this is what a roll would look like. Well, okay. Full throttle, up, right aileron. Okay, knife edge, a little left rudder, back to neutral, down elevator, we're inverted. Okay, knife edge with a little right rudder, and back, maybe a little bit of up, and then back to neutral. That's basically what a roll looks like. It's like that. I guess you can play that back on replay if you want. Let me see if I've got the S2 in my simulator. Don, what's it called specifically? Does it say Horizon S2, or what's the actual name of it in the simulator? The Hobby Zone Sport Cup. Okay, let me look. No, I don't have that. That must be on the version 9. Let me see if I can find something comparable to it, though. I'm not ignoring you guys. I'm just trying to set up something here. Okay. I don't know if I can film this or not. No, I've got version 8. Hey, Bibster. Version 8. If I had a tripod, Maybe I'll do it on my next live stream. I'll have the simulator up so I can actually show you guys the screen. But did that? I guess that made sense. You said awesome, so I assume you like that. But yeah, just now when you're flying faster and more precise airplanes, you won't even be using full aileron. You'll just be holding it maybe halfway. But yeah, it's a matter of pumping your elevator and pumping your rudder in unison. Well, you might have been flying too slow, Don, but at the same time, if the plane like just physically stopped, like even slow planes will eventually, because they'll start to lose altitude and dive, and the roll will continue as it's diving. If your plane is like stopping, there's something in the program that's preventing it from going over to inverted. You've got a tripod you got from your citywide garage sale. I've got tripods I got from the Goodwill store for like $5. So yeah, in fact, if you guys watch my rocket videos, I've got a couple tripods I'm using right now for my rocket flights. One, that overhead view, that's my tallest one. But when it's banked, it really wants to turn. When it's banked, it really wants to turn. You mean it's wanting to go like follow the turn as opposed to continuing over? I'm thinking you say your safe is off, but I would check your safe settings. Your safe may still be on behind the scenes. So, yeah, and I'll maybe figure out a way I can play my simulator through the phone or through the live stream. I'm not sure how that would work. Maybe I can eventually get to where I'm doing that. But yeah, I mean, aerodynamically speaking, if the plane is able to roll this far, then it should be it's able to roll that far and that far and that far. Again, you're going to lose altitude. But as you lose altitude, that increases your speed, right? So you're maintaining your airspeed. The only reason it would stop rolling is if you were actually trying to maintain at that level. By that I mean, okay, rudder to keep that nose up, elevator to keep that nose up. That is what would decrease your airspeed to the point where the ailerons would not be effective anymore. But assuming your airspeed is maintaining the same, there's nothing aerodynamically to stop it from rolling to inverted. So, again, I hope that helps. Have we completely confused everybody else that's watching? But yeah, let me tell you a story on this transmitter. So back in 2000 and let's see, what year was that? 12, I guess it would. So about 10 years ago or so, I was living back east, and Aaron is with me 100%. Awesome. Not. Okay, that's funny. My issue is it wants to come around instead of tracking straight for the roll. Okay. That's check your dual rates also. Make sure you should have a switch somewhere that controls the deflection angle. Like if you were to give aileron and it goes up this much, you flip that switch, it's going to go up even more. So you get more movement as opposed to less movement. Make sure you're on high rate so you get more deflection. So check your radio on Flight Simulator and see that you're on high rates. That's also a possibility. So back to my story. This transmitter, new, is probably, well, they don't make this particular one anymore, but it's valued around $500 to $600. Let's just say $500 or $600. And there were two different versions of it. There's the 9CAP and there was the 9CHP. Like Curtis would have been more familiar with that one, being a helicopter guy. And Curtis, I didn't see if you responded to me or not when I told you I flew a Colt Enforcer. If you're still watching, let me know if you're familiar with that. And let me know what you used to fly. But anyway, so the CAP is for airplanes. That's what the A is. And, I mean, if I'll turn it on here. I've got it set for my Pedro, which is my little yellow airplane. But I don't want to run the battery down. But I was getting back into pattern flying, which is competitive aerobatics, and I needed a new radio to do all the programming and the mixing that I wanted to use, with pattern. So I went on Craigslist and I typed in Futaba radio, and this one popped up. This was owned by a guy that lived in Northern Virginia that bought it and was using it to operate a robot. Like those little BattleBot machines that they have, those BattleBot competitions. I don't know if he was competing with it or not, but he was controlling robots with it. So he was not outside in the elements, flying with dirt and everything around him. He was in a controlled environment. So the radio was like brand new. It was mint condition. And he was asking $75 for it. I mean, I thought it was a typo. I thought he wanted $750, and I called him. I'm like, how much you want? He goes, $75. I'm like, sold. He goes, well, do you want to come take a look at it? I said, well, I obviously need to come pick it up from you, but if it works, $75, it's. So I drove over to his house, picked it up, and now I did have to buy the module. I purchased a module for it, and that was, that was probably $125, but you can't beat it. So that was in like 2012 or 2013, around there. In 2014, I went to the U.S. Nationals up in Muncie, Indiana, and I flew my pattern plane in the advanced class using this radio. And I placed third at the Nats, and which was, kind of pat myself on the back, but I was pretty proud of myself for that. And I was using at the time, this was even then considered an old radio. This is by no means a modern state-of-the-art radio. It's an old dinosaur, but it got the job done. So, and I still fly it. I fly my sport planes with it. I now have a more modern, advanced radio that I use for my competition aircraft. But for sport flying, this is perfect because it stores like 12 airplanes in here, in the memory. So, well, we might have lost Curtis, MH. Oh, you can. I didn't realize you can scroll through your chat on your phone. Very interesting. Learned something new. Oh, okay. Thanks, Aaron. Appreciate that. Oh, it's not a tangent. For me, it's a lifestyle, Don. This is a way of life. I absolutely love what I'm talking about. And now you've got me intrigued. I want to see if I can link my simulator up to my screen so it can play. I'm not sure how I would do it though. But anyway, because my computer is over here. My laptop's over here. My desktop's over here, and I've got my large. I want to say it's a 55-inch screen that I use, and my simulator fills up the whole screen, so I can do some practice on there. Yeah, I guess we could update it eventually. My goodness, JC Hobbies is in the house. Joe, you need to go back and rewatch. I went over a lot of rocket stuff earlier. I thought you already knew everything. Nope. Never gonna happen. I don't know. I don't know if I need to update it or not. It's got everything I need or want. I used to have the older, like, version 2, like Real Flight G2 back in eons ago. But I just bought this one recently, well, a year or two ago, version 8. And I've flown 9.5. I was at the hobby store the other day, and I was able to play with it at the hobby store, but I couldn't really tell much difference. Joe, I know you already got my text, but I did get those motors ordered. Hopefully they'll let me know tomorrow. I'll go pick them up. I'll let you know when I get them in hand. Once you own the base program, well, it was the G2, so I guess the original G1 or whatever you want to call it. I didn't have the original. But Don, there was a... oh, you just fired up the laptop. Okay. You were wargaming. That sounds cool. I don't know, Don, to be honest with you. I'm not sure. You just about finished the rockets. Cool. Well, we'll be ready for you. And I'm anxious to see when C for Countdown comes out, too. I'm looking forward to your next episode. Yeah. Do you guys know what kind of software? All right, they call it OBS. I don't even know what that stands for, but OBS software that would allow me to pipe in the video from my computer to show my simulator on the screen, as opposed to turning this camera is mounted to a desk mounted. In other words, I can't move my phone mount, so I'd have to get like a tripod and something to face the TV. But is there any way I could pipe in the video image onto my computer screen? I wonder if that's even possible. But quick recap, Joe. I'm going to be building... Oh, it has for open broadcast software. Cool, I did not know that. A mean machine, a mini. I'm going to break my mount. I'm stretching it. There at the very top. Mini mean machine. And it flies on the smaller A's like the A10s and the A3s. But I'm going to retrofit it with your engine hook plan to run a 18 millimeters on it. So, yeah, I'm going to modify it to run, the A, B, C's, and maybe even a D. And I was showing these off earlier too. If you're going to go back and rewatch it, I don't want to, say this, repeat myself, but there's my 16/8, so I'm ready for my Yankee. But no, I went over my Yankee. I went over my my Spirit staging, where I staged from the black powder to the composite motor. I went over that process a little bit. Opened up some baseball cards. We talked RC airplanes. We talked rockets. I talked about my Alpha 3 build that I'm going to do with Aaron. What about a retainer instead of a hook? I'm thinking, do the fins, although technically they don't have to drop down far all the way, but if, again, this is why I love you guys being on here. No, it's a BT20. This is the body tube. I opened the package and these are the tubes. It's a BT20. In fact, I'm going to run my little BT20 Baffle that I ran in the Yankee. So, no, the original, the original mean machine is a BT60, but the mini is just two of these 18-inch BT20s. So, yeah, that's what that is. Don, again, awesome idea. I've got some... I'm not sure they make a screw-on retainer for the BT20. I believe they do. Give me 30 seconds. I'm going to go look in my box of spare stuff, my miscellaneous pile. 1 second. Aha! Check this out, guys. $18mm engine retainer set. I've already used it. In fact, I think I used it on my Patriot. I didn't obviously mount it to the body tube. I mounted it to the motor mount. But let me see if... So if I could mount the fins a little higher up. Let me see. Let me get this radio out of the way, first of all. It's taking up all my real estate. Okay. Let me see where they say to put the fins. Okay, check this out. They got the fins mounting 1 inch from the base. So that'll do, well, unfortunately, that will prevent the rocket from being able to stand up on its fins. But it allows me plenty of room to mount the retainer. Yeah, so, you know. Again, well, you know what? Well, I could possibly mount it in a way that I could still get the fins to touch the ground. But if I run it up to the 1 inch mark, then I'm going to lose that ability. So that is definitely something I'm going to have to consider. But no, I'll be able to run a retainer ring. That way I don't have to, no offense, Joe, but I don't have to worry about adapting the engine hook. Although I could do it, it would present itself. I mean, it would stand out. You would notice it. Oh, did you really? I used the larger BT50 on my High Flyer XL. I've not built the High Flyer standard, but okay. So there. Now we've pretty much concluded that we're going to run a retainer, which is actually more appropriate because the full-size Mean Machine runs on a retainer also, right? So if we're going to try to mimic the full-size one, why not go with the retainer? The hook weighs less. Yeah. True. But, you know, part of it's aesthetics. I think, honestly, it would just look cooler to have the retainer on there than the hook. But yeah, I can see that. Hey, oh my goodness. Is that Steve? How you doing, Steve? So awesome to see you in here. Thanks for jumping in. Steve is our resident New York Mets fan. Steve, I will say this. I hope that I obviously wasn't planning on you being in here, so I hadn't thought of this until right now, but I hope you guys are enjoying Escobar on your team. It was an absolute devastation when we lost him from the D-backs. I think he went to Milwaukee and then he went on to New York, but I hope you guys are enjoying him being on your team. But yeah, no, we're doing good. I did some baseball cards earlier, Steve, and now we're doing rockets. We've been talking about RC airplanes and all sorts of cool stuff. Understood, Aaron. Thank you for jumping in, and I'll definitely show Ramona those pictures, and she will. I'm gonna have to have her make a. Does she have the recipe for that? Hopefully, Jess maybe could share it with her, or somehow they could work that out. But that I want a piece. So yeah, have a great day tomorrow. So yeah, Steve, it's so good to see you, buddy. I appreciate you coming in. Oh, you remember that story? Yeah. Yep. RC airplanes and baseball combined into one with Benito Santiago. That was cool. Yeah. Thanks, Aaron. You have a great night, buddy. Yeah, I want that recipe. So, but yeah, guys. Well, you know what? Here's what I'm gonna do. I got like 4 minutes to hit the 2 minute mark or the 2 hour mark. I'm gonna go on at least till 2 hours, and then unless you guys come up with something else to talk about, I'm plumb out of ideas. But it is awesome to see Steve back in the house here. Carter's Kids. For those of you guys who don't know, he is a huge Gary Carter collector. not just Gary Carter cards, but anything Gary Carter. Anything at all, Gary Carter. So yeah, that is so cool. Okay, Joe, I just got your text, but I won't be able to look at it because it'll freeze my stream. But I did get a picture of it, so I'll check that out when we're done. Yep. Yep. Huge shout out to Carter's kids there. In fact, okay, yeah, I saw that. Joe, thank you. I got the text. I just can't view it while I'm on the phone. You found some game practice worn cleats. Wow, that's cool. Yeah, like I said, you collect anything and everything, Carter, not just baseball cards. Anything. So, good stuff. Oh, I gotta do something real quick. Okay. All right. So, my goodness, what is it, 8 o'clock? So it's, 11 o'clock for you, Steve. But I appreciate you jumping on. I assume I'm still, I get your notifications. I just haven't been seeing any videos lately. Steve, one thing I want to tell you, now that I got you on the line listening, there's a million baseball card channels out there. You know, guys that just grip and rip and just tear into cards and collect anything and everything. But you, I don't even know how to phrase this. Again, this is all improvisation here. You speak on the philosophy of the hobby, which absolutely grips my attention. That's why every time you go live, I desperately go try to find a quiet place in the house to listen because I want to capture what you say, because you have a perspective on things that is so spot on, and you and I have the same, from what I can tell, the same value system. And so I really appreciate your philosophy and applying your values to the hobby and how that affects your collecting and who you collect and why you collect and how you collect and what you collect. Just all of those directions come from a value system. You have a foundation that you build your hobby upon. And I just want to say thank you personally. And I see Chuck there. He's responding, oh, having a cigar and listening. Well, that's I think that's what people do on your channel. They love to listen to your, again, your philosophies, your speech. It's awesome. So thank you for what you do. And again, let me know if you've not done it in a while, because I'm not getting notifications. So if you've done them, let me know. And I need to check your channel out and make sure that I've got the bell notification turned on, because I haven't seen anything lately. But yeah, no, I know I turned Chuck onto your channel one day, and you were going off on a rant about something. I don't remember what, but it was phenomenal. And Chuck and we believe and think the same way, and I believe you and I do too, Steve. So I'm sure you and Chuck are on the same wavelength also. Okay, you haven't. I feel better, because that tells me that I'm still subscribed. I was afraid that you were doing them and I'm not getting the notifications. So I'm just glad to hear that. So good deal. It's like a little family reunion here tonight. We got some old names in here, and I don't mean old, but you know what I'm saying. But yeah, no, Steve. So my channel, it's kind of morphed into the modeling side of my life, the hobbies, the rocketry, the RC airplanes. But like tonight, I did my rocket stuff, but I opened up some baseball cards, so I still enjoy that aspect of the hobby. But I'm just trying to include more stuff in my live streams. And so that's what tonight was about. I was even doing some instruction. I had somebody ask me about how do you do some maneuver with an airplane. So I got my radio out and I was showing them how you work the controls. But yeah, we're talking about aerodynamics and rocketry and different motors and anything and everything. Guy stuff. Does that sound right? Just a bunch of guy stuff. But like I said, we opened up a Fairfield box. We didn't get any hits, but we had some fun with that. What else? I opened up a couple cards that I bought from Tim from his last card sale. Have you? You know, Steve, it's one of those things I've noticed. It's my I jokingly told Faith, Family and Sports, his channel, Aaron, I was telling him the other day, I look at my subscription numbers and it's like a yo-yo. And for no rhyme or reason, I'll gain 3 in a day. It's like, whoa, that's phenomenal. And I'll brag, I'll show my wife, look, I gained 3, and the next morning I wake up and I lost 4. So I'm net, -1, for the net result. I'm like, well, what's that all about? And then a week goes by and I'll gain another sub, and then I'll lose 2, and then a month goes by and I'll gain 1. It's like ridiculous. So I don't know if that's YouTube just being funny in the background or if it's actual people unsubscribing. I don't know why somebody would do that, but teach their own. But it's funny. You lose 6 every day. So I've heard it said that in order for a subscriber to stick, Donald, you're doing that. No, you're not. For a subscriber to stick, they have to obviously subscribe, but then they have to go in and put a comment in one of your videos. I've heard that, but I don't necessarily buy into that, because you're telling me these people that have 200,000 subscribers, that every one of those 200,000 subscribers is going in and commenting on a video? These people that gain 100 subscribers a day are getting 100 comments a day? I don't buy into that. I don't. Nah. Yeah, exactly. I'm the same way. Oh, my wife is texting me. She says, "Are you done?" No, I'm not. And she should know, because she could log on and look at my stream. Anyway, sorry, squirrel. No, it doesn't upset. I don't buy into that. But I like what Chuck said. I don't care how many I have. I prefer quality. Amen to that. I guess my channel is growing organically. I don't promote it. I don't try to sell it. I don't do the thummies up thing. When you guys do it, I appreciate it, because that gets more, I guess, the analytics. After 10 thumbs up, I've heard then YouTube will send it to more people. I don't know. I just enjoy it. It's a hobby. This is not my job, right? I have a 9-to-5 that pays me my paycheck and feeds me and my family and puts a roof over our heads. YouTube does not do that for me. And the hours I put into YouTube, you would hope it paid out, but it doesn't. But the reason we do it is because of our love for it, right? We love the videos. We love sharing our hobbies with other people. We love sharing our ideas with like-minded folks so they could give their feedback and share their ideas. That's what makes a hobby, not a job, right? YouTube doesn't support my family. My job does. So whether I have 6 subscribers, 600, or 6,000, it doesn't matter. I'm going to do the same thing at the rate that I'm doing it at, because it's fun, right? And for us working class folk, yeah, I don't stream until the evenings. Donald does his streams in the middle of the day. He's retired. He can do it. I have to wait till the evening. Now, unfortunately, when you do it in the evenings like I'm doing, you're up against a lot of other people that are going live. So you got some competition there. But whatever. I've got my core group of followers that watch and subscribe and support and join in the chat, and that's what makes it fun. Okay, I need to take a breath. What are y'all saying? I watch everyone, enjoy everyone's videos, and let you all know. Well, that's awesome, Jay. I do appreciate that. Jay, I will tell you, the last video I saw you did and I don't know how long you've been doing YouTube, but you have a quality setup. That microphone that you use, the headset on, you've got the background screen, images of all the cards, you've got your little picture-in-picture of you in the corner. I don't know how you do that, and assuming, because I haven't heard of you until I met you in Donald Blomdahl's channel, but you've come a long way in a very short period of time. So I'm intrigued by how you've learned what you've learned up to this point. Very, very cool stuff. Anyway, I'm sorry, I'm losing track of the chat. Chuck says, I hate making videos that... What do you mean you hate doing them? You love doing them. You need to do live streams, though. That's where it's fun. I enjoy doing the uploaded ones, too. I enjoy, editing my rocket videos and all that fun stuff. But I enjoy this interaction. Steve, I've been saying I'll do an update video. Once a card or two more come in, and I'll delay it forever. Well, because there's just that one more card you're waiting on. That's like saying, when I get that next card, I'll have my full set, I'm going to show it off, but then another card shows up, and you got to wait for it to arrive. I get it. But, no, Jay, do me a favor. Just let me know how long you've been on YouTube. If you wouldn't mind, just more or less. 6 months, a year, 6 years, I have no idea. Could you just put that, because I'm curious. Yeah, live is more fun, Chuck, obviously. The interaction. And, okay, I'm going to go off on another little tangent here. If you're going to do live streams, there's a reason why you're doing live streams, right? It's not to show your hobby. It's to interact with your audience, right? So if you're doing live streams, you need to interact. Like, I could totally ignore you guys and just show my stuff, and I don't know, I might get a couple followers and viewers, but I think I keep the interest because I interact as best I can. Okay, so squirrel. Okay, moving on, Chuck. Okay, so you just proved my point, Jay. You're a new YouTuber. I've been doing this for 2 years, and it was 2 years this month, actually, in August of 2020, I think. Around 2 years. And I've really not changed my format much at all. I use the same StreamYard, Streamlabs. I don't even know how you're doing your OBS stuff with your background screen. I was just commenting earlier, I'm curious how I would be able to put my video of my flight simulator on the backdrop and then show me kind of maybe in the corner. That's like mind-blowing technology. I would like to learn how to do all that. That's cool stuff. Yeah, and if we interact, take for example, I was talking rockets earlier. If it was just me, if I was the only one and I didn't have my YouTube channel, I was going to build this rocket and I was going to put an engine hook. Where'd I put my engine hooks? I've lost my engine hooks. I've seriously lost my engine hooks. Oh, they're right here. They're in this bag. Okay. I'm going to show you guys something. I was going to say, look guys, I'm going to put an engine hook back here and it's going to hold my engine on. But unfortunately, this metal thing is going to be sticking out and everyone's going to see it. Unsightly, right? Ugly. But not a bad idea. It would work. And I would have done that had Don said, hey, why don't you put a retainer ring on it? Mount this at the bottom. The fins are over the top. You have no metal engine hook. You don't have to worry about covering up the hook with a layer of cardboard. I think that's a cool little adaptation myself. I wouldn't have known that if I didn't have live interaction with my YouTube chat. So, Joe's giving me rocket advice. All of you guys have given your 2 cents worth, and it means something. I actually use the tools and the ideas that you guys share with me. That's what I love about this hobby is like-minded folks. It's kind of like a forum. You guys are in your forums. There's baseball card forums, I'm sure, and other hobbies have their forums where you can type and chat through the forum. But this is live and interactive. This is like real time. I don't have to type a question. Hey, how do you do this? And then go to bed and hopefully in the morning go onto the forum and there will be a couple responses. And typically, the forums can be rude. I've had a lot of times people insult me for my, quote, ignorance when I ask a question. And that's, I guess, the nature of the beast with forums. But if those people show up in my live stream, I'd kick them out. I've got moderators in here. I've got people that can help, keep things nice and family friendly. Problem solved. And you know what YouTube costs me to run? Nothing. That's the cool thing about this hobby. Guys, all of us that do videos or live stream, we've got literally film studios in our homes. Oh, you're a teacher. I did not know that, Steve. Can you blend the retainer into your... You can't, Chuck, because it's threaded. Let me show you how it works. Basically, what you're asking me to do is, can I sand If I slide this on, can I sand it down to make it more arrow? I guess technically you could. Well, you know what? I said no, but if you were to angle it a little bit all the way around, then you wouldn't have that block face on the front. But what I may do is if I do this, I might just run a fillet around the edge too. Okay, so blend. Okay, so that's kind of what I was alluding to now, is doing a fillet, getting some epoxy or filler and just kind of blending it so it makes like a more, not a block face, but a curved face. Yeah, see? See what I mean? Chuck just proved my point. Just proved my point. And Joe is right. That happens on every forum. I've been insulted for my, quote, ignorant ideas on my forum, on the forums, but, you know, whatever. But with YouTube, the screw-on part sticks out a lot more. Oh, good point. You know what? See, I never thought of that. Yeah, even if I blend that part, the air is going to hit the cap. Can you do triangular rockets that each 45-degree angle offset to climb? There have been designs kind of like that, Steve. They're more geared toward like a novelty type rocket, not one that's actually trying to achieve performance. That's I understand what you're saying. You know, if you just I sound like a pyramid, because there are pyramid rockets that are shaped like like pyramids, where they're squared off the 4 sides or 3 sides, however many sides, but they're pyramid shaped. You could fashion a tail cone out of paper to offset the air over the cap. Yeah. I think Quest makes a kit, Steve, called the Pyramid. Oh my goodness, I had it and then I opened my mouth and I lost it. The Planet Probe, I think, and it's it looks like one of the pyramids from Egypt, and it's a novelty. You know, the problem is when you're dealing with those where you can't pack a parachute as easily. You can't run a height, even though it's 45 degrees. It's kind of a blunt face, so you're going to get a lot of drag. You want the longer, slender, skinnier style. But Don's got me thinking about this cone stop, even with the cap. I have the cone stop. So build the cone, put the cap on all the way, and then build the cone up to that point, right? Is that what you're saying? Build your fillet up to the level of the cap. Okay. I didn't know that, Joe. Thanks. A cone kit for transitions. What if I took a centering ring, an 18mm centering ring, slid it on, and then just built a fillet on the upward side of that centering ring? But guys, honestly, think about this though. We might be overthinking it, because this is a rocket that I'm going to strap a big ol', I shouldn't say big ol', but a honkin' square camera sticking out on the side. So if I start adding things to the rocket, is that going to kill me? I mean, if I lose a few feet over that, it's not the end of the world. I don't want to overcomplicate this either, though. You know what I mean? Like, I'm content with it looking like that, to be honest with you. That does not bother me. Because we're talking 1/8 of an inch. That's it. That's all. That'd be a lot of work for 1/8 of an inch. Yes, I did, Don. If you go back, well, I haven't flown it with the new D motor, but when I flew it before, I had a camera on it. I just can't. The altimeter didn't work, so I couldn't prove it hit 2,000 feet. But I fly. 99% of my flights have cameras on board. I know it affects the performance, and like if I fly the Yankee and it hits 1,999 feet, I'll say, okay, maybe I shouldn't have put a camera on this flight. But I want to capture it. I know I want to capture all the moments on board as the best I can. No, Don, I don't want to ditch the camera. I really don't want to ditch the camera. I know you're right. I would get the performance I want, but I won't be able to get the imagery I want. You know, a lot of it's, you know, yes, a lot of it's for YouTube, so I can produce fun videos for you all to see, and myself, I want to see it too. Well, okay. Case in point, Don, I put the D motor in it. I put the camera on it. It flies to 1,999 feet. I say, okay. But I've got great video of it, right? Okay, I can do a couple things. One, I could wait for a less humid day, because my altimeters do track humidity, so I'll know if the humidity is high or low. If it's high humidity, then I know I can go out and do it again and bust the 2,000 with the camera. If it's a low humidity day and there's like no other way to get more oomph out of it, then I could do another flight without the camera on board. But absolutely, I want to try with the camera first. Ditching the camera would be my last resort, if that makes sense. Let me write that down. Look at Estes 3179. Okay, got it. 3179. Centering rings and paper adapters. Okay, let me give the backstory. For those of you who don't know or don't understand what we're talking about, Joe, he's JC Hobbies here in the chat. He came out to visit me back in May. And I think it was May, right? Or was it June? Anyway, he came out a few months ago and to visit, and we launched some rockets together. And I've been out there. The highest I could get my rocket to go, I think my Zephyr Micro Junior got up to 1,700 feet. That's my all-time record, 1,700. I did fly my Yankee to what I think was 2,000 feet, but I can't prove it because the altimeter failed. So on record, 1,700 was my max. Joe comes out, second flight with a new rocket on an E-motor. He busts 2,000 feet. In fact, 2,200 and, was it 2217, I think. Put me to shame. I'm like, okay, the bar's been now set. So yes, Joe, I have this 2,000 foot envy. I want to hit 2,000 feet for me, but I want to hit 2218 for you. Yep, 2217. So that's my goal. If I hit it, great. If not, great, because I'm having fun, and a little rivalry never hurt anybody. So that's what that's all about. I really want to get my Yankee to and why that particular rocket, I don't know. I could do more with my Zephyr Micro. It's smaller, lighter. Easily I could hit 2,000 feet, but I've kind of already set the goal of the Yankees got to hit 2,000 feet. So it's all good. Yep, Joe loves it. I love it. It's all fun. It's like if there was only one car in the world, there'd be no one to race, And in fact, I think I read a quote where auto racing started the day they built the second car. So, and that's what pushes us to, excel and achieve and do better and better and better. So, it is fun, Jay. I don't know if you've ever flown rockets, but it's an absolute blast. Pun intended. Sorry. But no, it is a lot of fun. And back in the day in the 80s when I used to fly rockets in the 80s, I'd ride my bike with a bag full of stuff to the playground by myself or with a friend or two, and we'd launch rockets. But ask me if I have any pictures or videos of that stuff. I don't. So YouTube has become my avenue of scrapbooking these memories. Oh, there you go. So you understand. It is fun. But again, I don't have memories of those other than what's in my head. So I can't tell my grandkids, my great-grandkids, 10 generations from now aren't going to have a clue what great-great-great-great-grandpa did unless I video it. And YouTube allows me to... Well, because I'm doing YouTube, it makes me excel and try to do better because now I have an audience. So I want to do better for the viewers. I could make boring videos of me launching rockets that would still give me those memories, but it wouldn't be as much fun for the audience. So having an audience pushes me to do better, if that makes sense. Yeah, exactly. Don's doing the same thing. He's documenting his projects. I like the way you put that. Documenting the projects. Steve, maybe do an update video tomorrow. Oh, awesome. Okay, Steve, do me a favor. You've got the blue wrench. Upload your channel link because I want everybody to check out your video tomorrow. I want them to see and hear the real Steve, the guy that we're talking about. And because, again, I love the way you portray your hobby in the wording that you use. So upload that link to your channel so everybody can get on board so we won't miss your update video. And I understand it probably won't be a live video. If it is, great. But if not, we'll enjoy it nonetheless. So I would appreciate it if you could throw your link up there. Because I want everybody to get a sense of how you handle and how I think everybody should handle their channels. You are like the perfect role model for this community. There you go. I haven't seen that part of it. It says Carter's Kid, Steve in the Eve. That's good. I like that. Steve in the Eve. Very clever. Very clever. Don, I don't know if you remember, I mounted two cameras one day on my High Flyer XL. And yeah, two cameras, a little excessive. One was facing forward, one was facing backward. But I also flew my Jolly Logic shoot release on that flight, and I set it for 200 feet. I think I apogeed out at 400 or 500 feet, somewhere high enough. It ejected, rocket's coming down. You could see the parachute kind of flapping in the wind, waiting for the shoot release to pop at 200 feet. It didn't pop. Rocket crashed. It was so far away, I couldn't exactly tell what happened. I thought my shoot release failed. I was distraught. I took those cameras home, downloaded the data, I played the videos back, and those videos showed what went wrong. Those videos showed that the shoot release popped at exactly 200 feet, but the chute got tangled up because I didn't strap the bands properly. So when it released, the chute got hung up on the release mechanism. So that taught me a couple things. One, it showed me that the release worked, and two, it taught me I need to reconfigure how I mount it. So again, I love having onboard cameras to capture that one thing that you may not have caught or that you've missed. Okay. You used to do a nightly chat. Well, that's probably where I would enjoy watching your little. I don't want to call it a rant because it wasn't a rant, because you remained civil, but you were definitely passionate, and that's what intrigued me. And yeah, your nightly chats, fireside chats with Steve, classic stuff, good stuff. So, okay, yeah. So again, you say leave the cameras off. I get it. I do understand that you're going to achieve better performance, but you're not going to capture the performance. That's my take on it. Yeah, if I hit 2,100 feet with a camera, you're going to tell me, well, I could have hit 2,300 feet. Yeah, but I want to see it. I want to capture it from the air. I want to see what my neighborhood looks like from 2,000 feet. I want to look down and see my little green van down there from 2,000 feet. You know what I mean? It just that's what makes me smile. So, oh my goodness, we've got the other Donald Blom, the other Donald B in the chat. Hey, Don. Don, we've been going for almost 2.5 hours, and I was about to wrap up, but we keep chasing squirrels in here. Yeah, but you know what, Joe? Like Don would say, you wouldn't have hit 2,200 feet. But no, it would have been cool if we had a camera. Maybe next time you come down, we can strap some of my cameras on board. I've got, I think 2 working now. 1 for sure. The other one's kind of on the fritz. We'll see. You know what's interesting is Donald Blomdahl goes by Donald, but his name says Don. Donald Brent goes by Don, but his name says Donald. How about that? So why do you drive in a parkway and park in a driveway? Those are the things that keep me up at night. Donald, Jay is asking if you got his email. So mounting a camera in the nose cone, yeah, I've seen. Let me show you guys what the cameras look like. You may not know. When you see my onboard flight footage for my rocket videos, these are the cameras. If you look down at the end, that's the lens. But it's basically a thumb drive. Look at this. Little USB port. I've taped this to indicate this one has issues. But this is the camera. And when you buy it from Estes, it comes with this mount, this big old blocky mount that you strap onto the rocket, and this slides into the mount. I have just done away with that universal mount, and I just wrap masking tape around this to the body. Like, I just tape it like that with masking tape. Now, what Donald's alluding to is actually I saw somewhere, I don't think it was in a BT-20, but in a larger size rocket, they cut out like a little square on the side, and they slipped the camera in, and then out that side, and the camera was like sticking out this way. Obviously, this tube is a little too small for this because it wouldn't fit, but somebody engineered a way to do that. Now, the only problem with that too is you're not looking directly down, so you might miss the firing of the the motor at the bottom, and but yeah. So Joe is right. The Astrocam. Here, let me let you guys stare at that camera for a minute while I go get my Astrocam and show you. Okay, so here's an Astrocam. This is what I love about these squirrels we chase. So we come up with the funnest stuff to talk about. This is an Astrocam. This is the one that I actually had to rebuild. This one crashed. But let me... well, the nose cone's attached. This is a BT-50 size. So a little bit bigger. Did I miss anything? Oh, good. Jay and Donald are working out some card deal. That is awesome. Okay. So the nose cone for the Astrocam rocket, I'm just going to take it off because I'm going to bump the rocket body onto stuff. So let me disconnect it. The shock cord. Okay. So it's got this little fairing that sticks out, right? And then your camera slips in like so. And you can see the camera is almost pointing parallel to the rocket body. It might be 3 degrees off, but it's almost parallel. But just, I think the nature of the taper of the nose cone itself, but it's still pretty good. Okay, so you say, well, what's wrong with that? Nothing. The fairing blocks the wind, right? It's aerodynamic. But you know what? When I mount, I mean, I could technically put the cap on, but if it's the same shape as the camera. So the fairing, so if I tape this camera onto this side, the profile picture, not that different. And in fact, I mount mine this way. So aerodynamically, now when I do fly, here's what I do. Let me show you a little trick I do. I could easily fly with this cap on. There's nothing wrong with flying with the cap. In fact, that would give you more aerodynamics, no doubt. But the problem is, this is the one of the negatives I think about this camera. I'm going to turn it on with this button. Watch this blue light. See that little blue light? Now, that's looking at it from the side. Obviously, if you've got this cap on, you're not going to see that camera light on. You're not going to know if it's blinking, that means it's recording. So, and that's by pushing the button again. That light in the daylight, when the sun's shining bright, you cannot see that light at all. It is so pathetic. So what I do is I leave the cap off because I want to see the light. Okay, it's blinking now, but I think it's telling me the battery's dead, and it just died on me. The batteries in here are weak. They're really, really bad batteries. It was actually fully charged. I just took it off the charger. It died. So again, that's why it's a bad camera. I took a piece of heat shrink tubing, and I used a different USB connector, a broken USB cord, and I took the heat shrink tubing and I slid it on, and I hit it with the heat gun, and it melted or shrunk to make a cap to help keep dirt from out, from inside. So I fly with it mounted like this. Sorry, I've been surfing the channels while I was watching the Field of Dreams game. Then watched LBT's latest video, Red Rum, Murder. Slightly spooky. Yeah, I think that's a takeoff on The Shining, I believe. I'm not up on my horror movies. That's right, it was the Cubs and the Reds. Yeah, no, I did some baseball cards earlier, and mainly rockets, and I did some RC airplane discussion with a transmitter. But now we're doing rocket cameras. So, what do y'all think about me aerodynamics? I mean, I think the camera is actually the same shape as that fairing. It's not blocky, it's rounded. So, like I said, I mount mine looking down. And when I fly two cameras, I mount one like on this side, and then another camera on the other side facing the other direction. So this camera would capture the parachute, and this camera would capture the ground, and the way down here, and the ignition and the motor and all that. So it's just fun to have different views from different angles. So I just don't know if it's really worth the effort of messing too much with this fairing, considering I'm going to have the screw-on cap. Okay, Steve. Hey, Steve, thank you so much for showing up. I know I saw you dropped your link in earlier. Everybody, please, if you're in here, I got 7 viewers, minus Steve. That leaves 6. Please, all 6 of you, go to his channel. You're going to love it. Seriously. You're going to see baseball cards in a whole new light. Baseball in general in a whole new light. So check out his channel tomorrow if he does an update. That would be awesome. We look forward to it. And Steve, have a great evening. God bless you, brother. Thanks again for everything you do. And great seeing you again. Awesome. Awesome stuff. Have a great night. Okay, back to the chat real quick. Most people just tape it to the rocket body. Yep, like I do. The special thing about the nose cone is the loop on top, so it points down. Yeah, that's the funny thing is, when you mount the camera in here, this is tied to the parachute, right? Well, because this is mounted on the nose cone, not the rocket body, when the parachute captures the nose cone does this. Well, now which way is the camera facing? Not down, right? So they have I've not actually used it yet, but there's a string that you tie to the tip of the nose cone that anchors to your parachute. So when the parachute's not anchored here, it's anchored up here to another string. So when it comes out, the parachute link comes out, tied to that loop, rocket comes down this way, you can actually see the body hanging below it and the ground below that. I've not flown that way yet, to be honest with you. I've only flown this attached this way, and it filmed, because when I ran the loop down through the shoulder, it was really tight, and I didn't want it to get stuck. I'll admit I was a little leery of that, so that's why I didn't do it that way. But, and you see, typical me, I bored out so I can shove my altimeters up in there. But yeah, it is a unique design, Joe, that's for sure. It's definitely unique. Anything else? I was trying to get 2 hours. We're coming up on 2 hours and 40 minutes. With the exception of my card sales that I used to have, this I think this is my longest live stream that was not a sale. So this is cool. This is fun. This is truly, truly fun. And Steve was able to sit back and enjoy watching us and listening to us and smoking a cigar and just living the good life. I did, Donald. I did. I opened a Fairfield. Here's the remnants of the box. It's one of the newer ones, and it, of course, had, 30 or 40 cards in it. Had a 88 Donruss. Didn't pull anything out of the Donruss. In fact, I didn't pull anything out of the main pack either. Actually, the most interesting card I pulled was this Louisville Redbirds card, which is like a AAA to the Reds. I did open up a couple cards that I bought from Tim on his last sale last week. A couple Pavin Smith cards, rated rookies, one pink parallel and one base. So, and he's having another sale tomorrow night. So Don, if you're available tomorrow at, I think it's 5 o'clock our time, 7 Central where he's at, but 5 o'clock Pacific, he's having a sale over in Tim's, is it Tim's Cards and More, or Tim's Card Channel or something. I forget the title, but he's in Aaron's stream quite a bit. Okay, understood, Don. Thank you so much for being here. Your input was priceless and invaluable, so thank you for that. I got to eat too. I don't think Ramona's home yet. Maybe she's grabbing some food on the way home. Maybe that's why she's delayed. But anyway, yeah, have a great night, Don, and we'll talk more, definitely. And we'll figure out that aileron roll problem too. So, yeah, anything good? No hits per se, Donald. As far as Fairfield goes, no autos or relics or anything. But no, we just did a lot of chatting about rockets and airplanes and some life in general, philosophies with Steve. Kind of a recap on my last day of flying, how the rockets went and what I was able to accomplish and future goals. Yep, tell you what, guys, it's Joe's got to eat. Us West Coasters got to eat dinner. So, Joe, thanks for showing up when you did. Please go back and watch the replay, and you'll kind of understand more up to the point that you showed up as to what we were going over with the rockets and some of my plans. So, thanks, Joe, for showing up. Guys, I'm going to actually call it a night because, it's just time. So, thank you so much. I love you guys, and I appreciate all your support and your help in the channel. Moderators do a fantastic job. We don't get the bad guys in here, but if we did, I've got my moderators. I would jump on them like you know what. So, thank you guys. Jay, have a great night. Chuck, God bless you, brother. Joe, Donald. I got the 2 Donalds now. And I can't say Donald B because that doesn't narrow it down anymore. But Alex was in here at the very beginning. Great group of folks. So if I missed you, I apologize. But I'm checking the folks that have chatted recently. I don't think I missed anybody. Scrolling through here. No. All right, guys. I'm going to call it a night. Have a wonderful evening. A great weekend. I don't know when I'll go live again. But when I do, we're going to be building this Mean Machine. So until then, guys, have a great rest of your evening. Have some good food, and God bless y'all. Bye-bye.